Hiya, welcome to our demonstration of the Good Practice Tables or Gptables Python package. This package uses guidance from the analysis function website on creating accessible spreadsheets, and it's going to try and automate this process. Luke's going to demonstrate how to import and run the code and show what it can automate. The package is trying to recreate the tables from the labour market overview accessibility example, and you can find this on our spreadsheet guidance page. Please note that the package is still in development and it will be updated with more features soon. So there's some aspect of the guidance that cannot yet be automated with this package, but we'll highlight it throughout the demo and hopefully add some more of these features in future updates. We'll also publish some notes alongside just to provide a summary of what the demo can do and what the current limitations are of the package. So I will pass over to Luke now to go through it.
Hi, just to show you the data we're going to be trying to replicate. You can find it on this website here under the accompanying resources section. So I've downloaded that, and it's this is what it looks like: cover sheet, table of contents, notes, then several sheets. We'll only be replicating this first sheet just for time-wise. So first of all, to begin a project like this, I think it's always best to reuse some code that you've either used in a project before, or if you don't have that, you can come to the Gptables, read the docs. You can either directly go from here, or if you're on the GitHub, there's a link in the top right. And if you go to the example usage section, you can find several examples, and we'll be using this cover page example. So I'll copy and paste that into my, sorry, that's completed one. To my script I've got open here. All right, so first of all, we have to read in our data, which is here, name that data, and I've separated the data from that sheet, and it looks like this. This is what, so you would expect your output data to look like. So I've called that Gptables demo data, and we don't need this bit or any of this. And first of all, we'll be defining our table elements, starting with the title. So the title is just down here. Oh no, sorry, not that. The title of the table up here. So we can just copy this. We don't actually have any subtitles in this. Sorry, wrong one. You can see there's this bit over here, but that's actually generated automatically by Gptables, so you don't need to do that yourself. And there's nothing else. So we can simply remove the subtitles section. Now we move on to units. Now, this is putting units in the headers of your table. And you can see here the first 5 have thousands and the last 4 have percentages. And now you can either do this by using the actual column name, like they've done in this example here, or you can just index the column like 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 9. I'll be using the index just because it's easier, and I'm just going to copy this from my completed code just to save some time. So you can see the first 5 have thousands and the last 6 have percentages. Next, scope and source. We don't actually need scope and source. It's not mentioned in this table. As we can see, there's no mention here. One thing we have to add in is a notes bit for our table headers, because they use notes in the table headers. So I'm just going to copy some code again to save time. So here you can see it's kind of similar to the units. You can, again, use the name of the column or the index, and here we've used index. And to reference a note from your notes table, you just put put double dollar signs and the name of the note in between. I'll show you how we get the notes table in a bit. This bit we don't need actually. It's only very important if you have multiple index columns, but we only have one. And down here, we can remove all of the stuff that we've taken out and add in the table notes bit that we've added in. Right. And here's where we actually create our table, which is called table. Data is called data. And the table name is actually the name of the marked up table in Excel. Gptables automatically marks up your tables for you, so you don't need to worry about doing that. So there we go. And you could just pass these parameters into this function directly if you wanted, or you can do what we've done here, which is put them in a dictionary, quargs, and then unpack them. I guess this just looks neater. And just to show you an example of how this package can also handle multiple sheets, multiple data tables, I'm just going to create a copy of this first one. Just call it copy and copy again. And this is where we put our sheets in. So the sheets on our example we're copying is 1A, so we'll name it that. And the second one's 1B, so we'll just use that for our copy. And we just call this table. I guess we just set this to table copy. All right, that's all the data tables set up. Now we move on to our cover sheet. So the cover label is the bit down here, so cover sheet. The title is up here. Copy that. Now the rest, there's a lot of content in this cover sheet we're copying from. So I did this all beforehand. I'm just going to copy it over just to save a lot of time. As you can see here, it's quite big. So a lot of this is just putting, you could put all this information in the sections you want. There's a title, intro, and about section. I've done it like this. And just something to mention is you can see here that they have hyperlinks in their document. You can do this in Gptables by using this square brackets, regular bracket notation, where you put the display text in between the square brackets and then the actual link in the regular brackets just afterwards. All right. Yeah, that's all the cover sheet. Now here, from what we've copied, they've defined their notes in Python using a dictionary, it seems. But I think a better way to do this is to actually define your notes in a CSV file, like we've done here, and just read this in, just to save space in your code, and just I think it's easier. And to do this, we'll use the same bit we used to read in the data. And I've called this Gptables demo notes. And I'm also just going to rename the columns to, now they can be called anything. So I've just chosen to call them note number, note text. And I believe that's everything. And just to mention as well, actually, in the notes, you can use hyperlinks in your notes as well. You just do that same square bracket, regular bracket notation in your CSV file that you can see here. And that will create the link for you when you read it in. And finally, just the name of the output. I'm just going to call it Gptables demo output. And it will tell you where it's written to. So if you give that a run. Or I think that's just, yeah. I think it's note table, not table notes, isn't it? No, table notes. Table notes, table notes. Tables notes, that's it. And you can see it's giving us a warning, and that's just because we haven't used all the notes that I've read in. There's nothing to worry about. It still writes the output. You can see it's written it here. And if we open that up, you can see this is what our cover page looks like. So you can probably notice that there's some very long lines here. This is something we're working on to fix in the next update of Gptable. So depending on when you're watching this, it might already be fixed. However, right now, you would have to fix this manually by resizing the first column and wrapping the text. But this will be done automatically in the future. And you can see our hyperlinks have worked, and if I click on this, it does open the website. Next to the contents page is generated automatically. We can see it's got our worksheet 1A and the copy. It also has these links in it, so you can just click that to go straight to there, which is good if you've got many sheets. Next up is the notes table. This is what we read in, and you can see that link I put in the CSV file worked as well. And finally, the actual data table. So here you can see it is marked up as a table. Got all our relevant titles. The units and the notes have been correctly input into the headers. And one difference we have here to the example we're copying from is here we can see that the data is formatted as numbers with comma separations, and they've also excluded the first 3 zeros because it's units of thousands. Currently in the package, it's not possible to automatically format the data unless all of the data in a column is the same. However, here we can see this top row is text and the rest of it is numbers, so it's not the same. So to do this, you would have to manually set the format as a number here, and then you could add your comma separations and whatnot. Another thing to mention as well is missing data. It's best practice to use a shorthand notation to explain why you have missing data in your table. This is not done in Gptables and has to be done prior. So in your data you're reading in, which is here, you would have your data explained like that already. And another feature I just want to quickly show you before we finish is if you want to format your data in the table or even the titles, there's a way to do this in Gptables using something called additional formatting or rich text. If you're interested in this, I recommend that you come to the read the docs and read the sections on this to learn more. But just to give you a quick example of what it can do, I'm going to copy this bit in, which is just going to make the first row of the table bold. As you can see here, rows 1 format bold true, and just add in the additional formatting bit here. And that should work. Yep, and here we can see the first row is now bold, which it is in the example we're copying from as well. Oh yeah, sorry, one more thing. The alignment is also best practice to right align numbers and left align text. As you can see, everything here is left aligned, even though the numbers, it should be right aligned. This is something that will also be updated in the next version of Gptables, or might be already done, depending when you're watching this again. So for now, you would have to do this manually, but it will be updated in the future. I think that's everything.
Great, thank you, Luke. So yeah, as you can see from the package, it's able to implement a lot of the accessibility guidance. We've got a cover page, table of contents, and a note page is implemented, and also putting the notes in there from in the table headers. Just to note, this can only be done in the table headers at the moment, so if it can't be done with notes in the rest of the table. You can see the font type and size are set correctly. All the tables are marked up, and all the tables have one tagged header row, as said in our guidance as well. As we discussed, there are some limitations, such as the kind of number format and the alignment. But if there are any updates to the package, we will let you know, and we'll have more information in the summary as well. So thank you for listening.